Hello, everybody. Welcome to our fourth webinar. Thank you for joining on time. We are now going to start, and I will slowly let in the people that are still joining. My name is Davide Guariente, and I'm the director of the Association of Balkanic Innovation. Today's webinar will be led by my colleague Maja Budimir, and it will focus on Cascade funding projects, which we believe being an excellent opportunity for startups and companies to access equity-free funding through already funded EU projects. As an association, we are aiming at creating a network of eco-innovators in the region, an active network where we can share our knowledge acquired in European projects in the last 10 years and support you to access funding, knowledge, and contacts, both nationally and internationally. This webinar is going to be recorded, and the recording will be uploaded on our platform for all our members to access it freely. And it will last more or less 45 minutes. Most of it will be focused on the Cascade funding parts. And at the end, Maya will also provide you with an overview about our organization. Finally, I would kindly ask you to keep your microphone and your camera off. And whenever you want to ask a question, you can simply turn on your microphone and your camera and raise your hand. I see that I don't know if anybody else has a problem. If this is the case, please, somebody can write it in the chat. Maya, can you hear me well? Maya, you're muted.
We are hearing you well.
Perfect. Okay, great. Anybody else? Strahinja, in the case you have a problem to hear us, you will have to go on the settings and understand if your sound system is connected to Teams or not. I will now give the floor to Maya to start presenting the Cascade funding, and I hope you will enjoy and keep all your questions for the end when we will have a Q&A session. Thank you, everybody.
Yeah, Maya, are you talking? We are not able to listen anything.
I can hear. Sorry.
Yeah, now we hear you.
Yeah, something happened. Just a second for me to. Sorry, everybody, for this. We actually prepare everything, but you never know. What can just one thing?
Je se čujemo?
Da, čujemo se, samo sekundu da namestim.
Dobro.
Okay, thank you. Sorry for this. Just one thing to add here to David's introduction. You may type, of course, anytime during the webinar your question within the chat, of course, and you're highly invited to do so. So let's start now. So Cascade funding, or let's say the different name is also known as financial support for third parties, which actually explains everything. So among the many different types of funding that one can find under European calls, we can say that Cascade funding or this financial support for third parties is certainly among the most famous ones. The whole idea started actually as a part of the last program of European Commission, Horizon 2020, Research and Innovation Program. But everything is happening still. I mean, here it's also present now within the Horizon Europe. And it's very famous, firstly, because let's say 800 million euros have been distributed in Cascade funding projects. So that's the first thing why it was so famous. Secondly, actually, Cascade funding is created for to reinforce and to support the scalability of SMEs, mid-cap companies in the adoption of digital innovation. That's actually, as you may see, the part of the definition of the Cascade funding, as it represents the mechanism of the European Commission that should distribute public funds in order to create new companies. So of course, the main idea behind this definition is that, first of all, let's say when we are talking about the projects, for example, Horizon Europe project or Horizon 2020 project, it's a huge one project, and the procedures within the project are pretty much administrative, and documentation procedures are really complex. So that was the first thing was actually idea of Cascade funding is to simplify this kind of procedures so that that already funded projects by the European Union could run open calls for financing smaller projects that could be that will be automatically more approachable for and accessible for startups and small and medium enterprises, mid-cap companies, and entrepreneurs in general. So what does actually it means that now with this Cascade funding project, the whole administration and whole procedure is more simple and, as I said, more accessible. And this, as I already mentioned, this was created for the Horizon 2020 program, but still now within the Horizon Europe umbrella, there is no significant changes, especially not when we are talking about the companies on the angle of the companies and the startups and SMEs. Changes are pretty much really small, and everything remained the same. When it comes to the beneficiaries, of course, of the project, there are some smaller changes. Let's go directly to advantages so that you can actually realize how this Cascade funding projects are actually really good opportunity. So first of all, as I already mentioned, of course, it's the the money that is really huge. So 800 million euros is allocated within the Horizon 2020. It can be expected that Horizon Europe will distribute the same or even higher amount of money. It's created, as I mentioned, for SMEs and startups, and within this money, with the range for each project can go from 50,000 euros to 150 €100,000 in non-repayable funds. It actually means it's equity-free funding. So the further simple procedure is more simple than for other European projects, especially Horizon. And it's easier to participate. It's less competitive as well. So success is, success is more approachable to all third parties, as these calls are usually less known than the regular calls. And finally, I would say it's not less important, but it's the entrance to the European innovation system, as this mechanism offers to SMEs the possibility of getting involved in this large project to establish the relationships and cooperate with other, usually bigger companies at European level, technology centers or universities. So this funding projects, these Cascade funding projects are really good opportunity. When we are talking about this third parties and where Cascade funding comes in, actually. So if you're a startupper or SME owner, it means most likely, usually it means that you are facing the financial challenges, and there needs to be addressed accordingly, of course. So, and you probably heard for the European funding and the European calls, but these kind of calls like Horizon are representing the long shot for the small company. So this Cascade funding, it's actually the alternative way to acquire funding for your business. And with the simplified administrative processes, it allows actually some already implementing European projects in open calls to obtain more funding for small companies. So it's a good opportunity, and it's actually new funding opportunities are open beyond the traditional calls for proposals, and it's all created for SMEs, startups, also entrepreneurs and people who are having idea and searching for funding in general. Let's highlight the benefits, and in simple terms, we are talking about the equity-free funding. So any Cascade funding is actually equity-free funding. So you need no prior guarantee or collateral, and the evaluation time is shorter than the time for example, for the Horizon Europe project. Shorter time to grant as well. Usually approximately 2 months is enough. Shorter term projects. The bureaucratic and administrative management is short and simple. We highlight this many times so far. Reporting is also simple. It is also really it's very good benefit of this kind of projects, as in most cases, the reporting is based on work performance, so it's easy to submit the reports for the project. And finally, you don't need three-country participation. It's not written in the requirements for each call. Sometimes you can apply, as a single company. Cascade funding mechanism, just shortly, so it represents usually financial support, but not necessarily. And this kind of support is given via financial donation to natural person or a legal person, or just as seed money to startups or microcredit or other kind of forms. As I mentioned, not necessarily means that you are going to get financial support. Sometimes it means that you're going to get the support when it comes to the business development part or similar kind of support. But finally, when it comes to the Cascade funding, the whole process is managed and paid by the beneficiaries of the European projects, and this means that the funding and the decision within the funding are no longer the responsibility of the European Commission. So usually for them are responsible project coordinators, and they open the calls for proposal to attract potential beneficiaries, in this case third parties, and more specifically startups and SMEs. So Cascade funding actually distributes these smaller amounts of public funds in more agile way. So supporting these specific topics, such as, for example, incorporation of the new technologies, etc. But for all this, usually the coordinators of projects are responsible. To go further, let's see here how actually it looks like. So we have a Horizon Europe project, or Horizon 2020 funded project, as some of them are still active, of course. And we have two types of funding programs. So first one is incubation or acceleration program. Second one is technology and testing facilities. For the first one, usually it goes for incubation and acceleration of tech startups and scale-ups. And for the second one, money is going, of course, and support is going for the piloting, demonstration, experiments with technology, etc. For example, for digital innovation hubs, technology providers, and users company. When it comes to the objective of this Cascade funding open calls, first of all, they are usually competitive, but no, still they're not that competitive as the calls for Horizon Europe. But they have, of course, they have a European dimension, and they are aiming at supporting, first of all, supporting pilots, demonstrators, experiments, testing of specific innovative technology or framework. Usually here are participants are startups or SMEs. Secondly, these calls are supporting tech startups or scale-ups via acceleration, incubation, and mentoring programs. Usually these calls are equity-free. And finally, they are integrating more participants into the project to extend its scope or to address specific tasks. If we are talking about the focus areas that are covered with Cascade funding, so given that Cascade funding is a part of Horizon Europe and Pillar 2, so the main focus areas you may see here are listed here, but I will go directly to the sectors that can benefit, and I will for sure say here that all sectors can benefit from the Cascade funding projects. But the sectors needs to implement. I mean, the new technologies, and vast majority of Cascade grants cover these digital areas, should be implemented within each sector. So if you are a provider or you are dealing with some kind of digital technology or any other digital area that is listed here, so feel free to apply for the Cascade funding, as it can cover your innovation and development of your business. When we are talking about the projects under this Cascade funding, once again, they are competitive. Secondly, they usually distribute funding, but as I mentioned, not necessarily. Funding can be allocated to various types of specific activities, from studies, experiments, pilots, developments, etc. And finally, vouchers for support services. Sometimes the open calls do not always distribute money, but they are sometimes provide these vouchers for supports or even free access or just the support when it comes to the testing facilities and or business support as well, and mentoring program. Important to know before applying is generally all requirements are specified in the topic description for the call funding projects that will operate the open call. So you need to actually follow all requirements, all description of the call within the project that is opening the call. Topics, target applicants, application processes, and rules for participation are, as I mentioned, set by the project. So no one-size-fits-all rules here. Lots of projects are still running or will be running. For example, we still have, as I said, we're still having some projects that are coming from the Horizon 2020. And it's not usually it's hard to find this kind of call. So Cascade funding calls are often hard to find, but we will show you how to find it. When it comes to the criteria for success, there's some general criteria here. We may say that research and development projects, excellence and quality, novelty, relevance for the target market, competitive position is always welcomed, are always welcomed. Where market creation or expansion prospects for technology or solution, demand creation, longer term commercialization prospects, etc. And also you need to, let's say, demonstrate within your proposal that the feasibility of the proposed approach and allocated resources for the specific project funded by the grant. What is interesting here, of course, is where you can find and access the Cascade funding opportunities. First of all, of course, the address for this kind of calls is European projects website, so funding and tender opportunities. So of course, you just type in together with competitive calls and calls for third parties, and you will, Google will, of course, share with you the link, this link that you may see on the screen. Second thing is, of course, now you are invited to join our association or to check our website. Within our platform, the Association of Balkan Eco Innovation, we are having a platform. I will tell you more further, but within the platform, we are offering also the search of calls, easier search of calls. So within the funding opportunities, you may find also some Cascade funding projects and open calls. Further, F6S Innovation. F6S is a company that has a really good innovation platform, and I would say that they are participating in this as Cascade funding project, sometimes as a project coordinator, sometimes as a partners, but they are offering a wide variety of these Cascade funding opportunities, calls. Just follow their website. You will here you can see the link. At the end, of course, there are many other companies that are also involved into Cascade funding projects, and each of them are having the information about the open calls, of course, within their on their website. In general, there are plenty of different open calls that provide this financial support for third parties. You just need to find yours, and of course, sometimes it's not that easy. But we will see here, we are seeing here currently open calls, I mean the active projects and the open calls, or some of them are forthcoming calls. Firstly, Galactica. That's also, all of these projects are, of course, the projects of Horizon Europe. So it's from the last European Commission funding program. First one is Galactica. Galactica is actually distributing the travel vouchers. So you may check all the requirements, but they have a second open call. And they are attracting and supporting the best cross-sectoral projects in the fields of textile, aerospace, or advancing manufacturing. Rich Incubator has open call for digital innovation hubs. Currently, I think they just closed the open calls for SMEs. But if you're data providers, until the end of May, you have a time to apply. Future RDA open call. It's the open call for open science cloud that satisfies the FAIR data. You may check within their website. Green offshore tech. They also have open call for applicants. The topic is related to the green offshore production and transport. Egden project that has also some data partner calls. The new European Bauhaus, etc. You may see the list up until the end. I checked this open calls; they are still active. So if you are coming from this sector of interest, you may check it as well. There's one more forthcoming open call, and I will tell you more about this project because we are also the partners of this project. So the Rural, that's the project where we are also where we are responsible to ensure the project impact, especially in Balkan region. But open call is going to have the Rural is going to have the 3 open calls for third-party service providers, a native service. In other words, actually open calls for direct service providers and platform-based service providers to the Rural platform. What is the Rural? The Rural is the project that aims at reducing the digital gap between urban and rural areas. So it will develop a flexible digital infrastructure or platform that rural regions can adopt and where services can be offered. So if you have any service that could be of help for the rural regions, you should check their website firstly or the Rural social media, because soon they are going to announce first open call and of course in future other open calls. So you can stay up to date with the news and infos. And of course, in the interview, you can follow our social media. We are going to announce these open calls as well. Coming to an end of the story related to Cascade funding. Once again, if you are SME owner, startupper, you actually need to give your business the opportunity of Cascade funding. So apply with your company, prepare yourself good for the application, and you have several types of applications or open calls. So first of all, you have open calls for incubation or acceleration. And secondly, you have the open calls that supports piloting experiments. And finally, you have open calls for extensions. I'm pretty sure that if you are dealing with some technology or you have an innovation, or at least you can make a partnership with some other service providers. So if you are, for example, if you're a provider of business kind of services, you can make a partnership with a service provider and apply for this Cascade funding calls. It's a really good opportunity, so you're invited to use this opportunity and to grow your business. Now I will just shortly use some time to introduce you with our organization, the Association of Balkan Eco Innovation. Shortly, we are a non-profit organization that helps universities and companies working on sustainable solutions to access funding, knowledge, and partnerships. David already mentioned some things within the introduction of the webinar. So this is our team. We are actually project managers, and we are with the long-term experience. So in this public funded grants, and we are willing to help you, and we actually want to use this experience and to help local entrepreneurs and researchers to access funds, international partnerships, and scale-up opportunities. I already introduced you with our project, the Rural. This is what we aim. We actually aim to support the development and the uptake of eco-innovations in the Balkan region. We have 3 kinds of services that we are currently actually providing for our members. First one is to get funding, to find the calls, for example, like this kind of calls, Cascade funding calls, to get you informed more about the latest news when it comes to the eco-innovation in the Balkans and in world, of course, to stay up to date with all funding of interest from European Commission and more regional and national also sources, to consult European Commission, to acquire the necessary knowledge, etc. And finally, to stay connected with, first of all, regional and secondly, international entrepreneurs, to cooperate with leading researchers and universities, to access a valuable database of contacts, of course, and to participate at events and meetups organized by our organization. But I will say to make a partnership also with other members of our association. How we are going? If you're still wondering what is in for you, but I will just shortly introduce you how we are doing this, all of this, how we are providing all of these services. Through this kind of webinars and courses, meetups, Q&A sessions, partner database, monthly newsletter, portal with the news and articles, etc., and many more, of course. We are all of these services we are actually put on the platform that we are offering to our members. So we are highly inviting all the members, all potential future members, universities, faculties, research centers, companies, SMEs, startups, and NGOs. Of course, this is for the very low annual fee, 300 euros per year. You can easily become our member and use everything that we are offering, of course, and many more. We are preparing always something new. Finally, it's time for Q&A session. So thank you once again. But before Q&A session, just to say one thing: follow us because I want to use this opportunity to invite you for our next webinar in June. And it will be dedicated to the Green Deal and why the Green Deal is so important to both entrepreneurs and researchers. So I'm pretty sure that many of you are entrepreneurs, so you're invited to join our next webinar. Thank you, and now we are ready for the Q&A sessions. David, just please, you may start if we have any question on chat, or I just need time to.
Yes, at the moment I don't see any raised hands. I just also want to say that you always have the possibility of contacting us by email. I see actually now a question from Strahija Grigoric. Please, Strahija, you can ask both in English or in Serbian as you wish.
Okay, we can speak both languages so everybody understand.
Perfect.
Maya invited me here. David, hello to you too. Your project is very interesting, and I already found a company which I would like to work with, Galactica. I think you mentioned the vouchers for the traveling agency, right? So
So in a travel and agency, the vouchers are actually kind of support. Like you have you're getting money or you're getting the voucher as a support.
Yes,
yeah.
So as you know, my main purpose and my entrepreneur and my career, small startup business, is about digital business cards.
Yes.
Which share your social media location of your company, calls, messages, Instagram, Viber, WhatsApp, and other apps. But we have few more options, which is sharing pictures as results of your kind of business, sharing PowerPoint presentations, catalogs, and of course, I have the options sharing vouchers, right? So if Galactica is working, sharing or dealing with financial or giving their vouchers, so the business cards would be a great deal for them, if you understand what I'm saying. So basically, the purpose of your company is you help us to connect with people who are ready to invest in our small businesses, right?
We are an NGO, an association, so we are not really a company, but our goal is to provide you with numerous opportunities that you can apply for. So with the registry of open calls, like the one that we showed you today in our presentation, so that you get knowledge about them and that you can apply then for those opportunities. Like, for example, the Galactica project. Which is not our project, but it's a project that may bring some opportunity to your company or to some other companies. This is the first goal. Other goals that we have, it's, for example, to connect you with other partners that are having similar interests or complementary interests with you, so that you can create a consortium in case you need to apply for some call that requires more than one partner. We are working on that. Of course, the broader is our network, the more we can offer this type of opportunities and services. And in the future, also to create events, both physical and online events, so digital, where people can matchmake, let's say, and meet each other. So these are our type of services right now. Besides, also, we have a lot of reports.
Right? Paperwork is to apply for European contracts. The paperwork must be terrible. So your company takes care of that part, right?
Can you please repeat, because I heard only half of your
Maybe
question.
I was holding my arm on the mic. So the main job of your company is to help us connect with investors. And as you said, the paperwork must be terrible for the European Union to apply for the funds. So you help out with the paperwork too for the startup business, right?
Nope. We are only bringing to our members the opportunities, and the knowledge on how to do it. We make this type of webinars. We also made a webinar, for example, on the budget. We explain how this can be done, but that's totally on the side of the companies or entrepreneurs, because we are not a consultancy company. We can provide you with links to consultants that do the type of job that you just mentioned. But that's job for consultants. So like a consultant would intervene, would take care of the documentation, or could take care of like contacting people in your name, but that's job for consultants. That's not our job. Our job is just about knowledge sharing and about bringing opportunities to people that are interested in those opportunities. And that's why we are a non-for-profit. We don't make any profit out of what we are doing now. We are just bringing the opportunities. If some of our members needs access to a consultancy firm or consultants for European Commission funded projects or whatever else, we can provide you with contacts. That's we are in that network. We can do that. But we as an organization, we do not take care of documentation or the application phase, or we do not write for our members. We just bring them the opportunity, and we try to link them with the potential partners if we have the contact as much as we can. But that's also, let's say, we are bringing the opportunity for you to apply to.
Okay, thank you very much, David. I'm gonna listen to other questions then.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Strakan.
Thank you.
We are available for any further question by email as well. Milos? I see
Hello.
you. Hi, Milos.
Hello, everyone. Thank you, Maya, for this wonderful presentation. Thank you all for your time and this opportunity. My question is twofold, actually. First of all, is informative. Are we going to receive maybe this presentation after this meeting so that we can revisit all the websites and links and names that you mentioned in the presentation? That's the first one.
Yes, we can send to everybody of you the presentation. There is no problem. We generally apply the recording on our platform, but that's only for our members. But we can send the presentation to everybody who was present here for you to consult, especially those links that we have prepared. So yes, you will receive it by email.
That would be delightful. Thank you. And second of all, I'm connecting with the previous question from Strakan. Like to be his first question to be exact, I'm looking at the Galactica projects and the travel vouchers, and I'm seeing there is list of eligible events that it's offering, and that's Galactica learning expeditions and Galactica matchmaking. Are those the only eligible events that the Galactica is doing financial supports to their vouchers? Thank you.
I'm not a key expert on Galactica, so I will leave the floor to Maya for this.
Yeah, I have to say, first of all, there are so many projects, and projects are offering the open calls. So if you need anything, I mean, as I mentioned, there are no one size rule fits all. So you actually need to go through the description of each open call, so you can find what Galactica is offering, or any other project, any other open call. So that's the first thing. If you are on the website of Galactica, you will find the description of the open calls and so you can find out more about information regarding the Galactica. We can tell you maybe more about the rural, but not only, but also the rural is preparing the open call for future. So usually, as I said, these informations are all offered on the website of the project.
I will definitely look all of the previous mentioned. So thank you.
Also, Milos, if you want, please send us by email this question, and we can look for you for the answer, and we can provide you also with some suggestion with regards to the Galactica project.
Should I write on the same email that I got the invitation?
Yes, please send us the question, and then we will come back to you with an answer, because we need to analyze the project and see a bit what they're offering, not to tell you any wrong information.
Thank you so much. I will leave my word to the other ones. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Okay, I don't see any further raised hands or questions on the chat. If there is no any further question, I think we can close it here for today. Thank you all for joining us. We reached a quite high number, and we are happy to have an active network of, especially of companies that are interested to access further funding for their innovation and solutions. Please feel free to contact us by email and to join us also in our future webinars, to check our social media and websites. We are keeping updating them, and thank you for all the support. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.